Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday. We just got back from Mothman.
We sure did.
So that was fun.
That was such a wild 24 hours.
It really
Honestly.
was.
We traveled 4 states. That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
really a lot.
Yeah.
We had so much fun, honestly. So much fun.
I know. It was just craziness.
Truly. There was so many people. Like, I can't exaggerate to you. Like the tiniest town I've ever seen in my life. Like a one stoplight type situation.
Yeah.
And there were thousands of people there.
Yeah. Like way more than I really thought that there was going to be.
Same. Same.
Yeah. And we stayed like 30 minutes from this city, from Point Pleasant, but there were still people all the way out there
Literally.
that came for this too.
Literally. Like,
so
people were everywhere. Oh my gosh. And people were even like parking in Ohio and walking across that huge bridge to the festival just because there was no parking either. Like, it was crazy.
yeah.
I know. It far surpassed my expectations.
Yeah, I know. They did not have that much parking.
No.
So people were like illegally parking everywhere.
Yeah,
it was
me.
crazy.
Me.
Yeah.
I can say that because, it already happened. But
Yeah. Well,
shout out to the Piggly Wiggly there.
yeah. So we did go through 4 states. North Carolina to Virginia, West Virginia, and then to Ohio, which I've never been to Ohio.
Well,
so
now you have.
That was
We
cool.
had lunch in Ohio and it was really good. Also, let me just tell you guys so my family is from West Virginia. I have been to West Virginia millions of times in my life, and I know that the cell service is not good there. But I just kind of assumed that was only where my grandparents live, because they live literally in the middle of nowhere in West Virginia. So I just kind of assumed they live in a valley or whatever. No, it's the whole state, because the second that we crossed into Ohio lines, our phones magically just started working.
Yeah. See, that's kind of crazy to me. It's like that whole state, you guys are suffering out
West
there.
Virginia, what is going on? Somebody get these poor people some towers. It was insane. Truly insane.
Yeah.
But it was
And we
fun.
did.
Oh, go ahead.
What were we about to say the same thing?
I was going to say that I touched Mothman's butt. His shiny hiney.
Yes, you did. I should have, honestly, because it brings good luck, doesn't it?
It does. That's the legend. So I touched his shiny hiney.
I should have. But we did get our picture with him.
We did.
So that was cool. We also got to meet some podcast friends. Some people that we had not known before, but they have the podcast, The Moth Boys.
Yeah, Moth Boys. Shout out. They're really cool. Their podcast is kind of similar to ours. So, if you like ours, go listen to theirs and tell them that we sent you.
Yeah. Shout us out in their comments and stuff, because then they can come over here and know that we shouted them out.
Exactly. Also, future collab maybe one day.
Right. We need to make friends with these guys.
Hit us up.
No, it's also funny though. We went up to, they had a table at this at the festival, and we went up to them, and I don't remember who, but one of the hosts of the show, they were like, "Oh, so you're podcasters too?" Or are we rivals now? And we were like, "No, we're hoping to be friends."
No,
why are you fighting with us immediately?
It was so funny. Yeah, we talked to some other cool people too. So, if you're listening, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening, anybody, to who, just any person who's listening.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Mothman is so fun. Honestly, I recommend go. The only thing we didn't get to do is go on their little bus tour to the TNT mines, because we didn't know about it before it was already sold out.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately,
maybe next time. But no, it was so fun. I recommend going, but just expect there to be 1 million people there, because there will be. But okay. Also, I was gonna say, we did in fact vlog our trip to Mothman.
Oh yeah.
So, we are very busy people, but you can expect a vlog coming soon, coming hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I mean, like, we're not vloggers, so just remember that. Keep that in mind. But it's, you know what? We had a great time filming for you guys.
Yeah.
As much as we could.
Try to work on it over the weekend. So maybe in a week. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you set that expectation for yourself.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But moving on from Mothman, I'm just gonna say we gotta keep, you know, Florida, like, you know, up. We gotta send them positivity, nothing but kindness, love.
Oh, I know.
Because they currently, as we're recording, this is going to come out in a couple days. So this is still going to be before Hurricane Ian hits Florida, technically. And it's right now supposed to be a Category 4 when it hits. And I have been through, me and Savannah both have been through some crazy hurricanes, you know, living at the beach. So they're really scary. And I am so afraid for them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We got sent home from school. We got sent home from UNCW for Hurricane Florence. So, and that one was pretty bad.
Yeah, I thought we were going home for the weekend, so I packed like a weekend bag. I packed like 4 outfits, and we ended up staying home for like 2 months. And I had to live with 4 outfits.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously bought more clothes, but you know, it was crazy. It was like wild. Like everybody's homes were destroyed. So I just hope that's not the case for Florida right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, that depressing news aside, I don't really have anything else to get into.
Yeah, okay. So we can get into my story. So, you know, when we were at this Mothman festival, back to that a little bit, there was a lot of, I mean, people were selling different products and art and stuff, random stuff, and I learned about a lot of different cryptids that I've never even heard of before, or that I've heard of and not really like thought about, and this is one of them, the jackalope.
The jackalope.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have actually heard of it, but I didn't really think to like look into it more until, you know, I saw a few things with a jackalope on it.
100%. And honestly, even though, because I also obviously saw the jackalope stuff, the only thing I've ever heard about a jackalope is like in Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
And it was like for 2 seconds and it wasn't really mentioned. So I don't really think I know what it is. So I'm excited.
See, you always have some way to bring Scooby-Doo into it.
It's every day, bro.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo is always on my mind.
Now I need to like find that reference. But
I can tell you which I know which episode it's in.
Oh my gosh.
Which movie.
Okay.
It's like the I'm pretty sure it's called Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invasion. Like, I mean, I don't want to give a spoiler if you haven't seen it.
Well, what do they say about it?
Well, they're just like, oh my gosh, it's a jackalope. Can you believe it? And it was like out there with the aliens. So I don't know if that's what it has to do with, but yeah.
Well,
so it's in the Alien Invasion one if you want to watch it.
Okay. So a jackalope is like, it's highly debated whether it's real or not, because, you know, I feel like all cryptids are.
Definitely.
You know, highly debated. But the name, it is a portmanteau, which is like a blending of 2 words of jackrabbit and antelope. So yeah. And it is supposed to look like a jackrabbit with antelope horns.
Yeah.
So
cute.
you can picture that. Yeah, like
Cute.
it is kind of cute.
And Scooby-Doo it was cute.
So they're a brownish color. They weigh about 3 to 5 pounds, and they also move with lightning speed up to 90 miles per hour.
Whoa. Slow down, jackalope.
I know. They're pretty fast. And jackrabbits are actually hares and not rabbits, but like it's honestly, it could go either way, because, you know, a jackalope could actually be a rabbit and people are just like misinterpreting it.
True. Also,
like,
I don't even know the difference between a hare and a rabbit.
Oh, okay. I have the difference here.
Okay, good.
So hares are bigger and they have bigger ears, and they live more on the land and don't burrow. And like rabbits will burrow into the ground and they're smaller, and they are like actually totally different species.
Interesting. That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, they look pretty much like similar, but you know, they're different.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, for a jackalope, it could go either way. So I might say rabbit or hare. I don't know. I'll say either one.
True.
Throughout this. So they're most commonly sighted in Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, and New Mexico. And then Wyoming is like the main state that they're associated with. So I don't really know anything about Wyoming.
Nope,
except for I think of cowboys.
I don't even think I think about cowboys. I think of nothing when I think about Wyoming.
I think of like home on the range out in Wyoming. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Like that's the vibes I get.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like the Old West.
Is it like dry out there?
See, I don't know. I think there's like a bunch of
picturing.
I'm picturing dry and also like fields, like the plains.
Yeah.
You know?
It's giving we also don't know geography yet again.
I know.
So, honestly, listeners, I'm sorry. Like, somebody give us a map.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, whatever. Okay, but the Wyoming legislature has actually considered bills to make the jackalope the state's official mythological creature. It's been
okay.
Yeah, it's been brought up 3 times in their legislature, and each time it passes in the House, but then it dies in the Senate.
What?
So it hasn't gotten passed yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me okay. I'm just taking notes.
Yeah. So in Douglas, Wyoming, oh wait, I skipped some. Sorry. Let me go back up.
Good.
It's actually, so it's been brought up 3 times, like I said, and one of the sponsors, he says that he'll keep bringing it up until it passes.
Good.
So he's like really dedicated.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, he should be.
And in Douglas, Wyoming, tourists can get a jackalope hunting license.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But, okay. Let me continue. It's good for 2 hours on June 31st.
Okay, so that doesn't exist.
Yeah, which doesn't exist. So.
Okay, so it's fake.
Yeah, and also applicants need an IQ between 50 and 72.
Okay, hold on, because this is giving me throwback vibes to Mothman Festival when we were at this other tent for another cryptid that we'll cover one day, the Hodag, and they had the Hodag killing license. You know, the hunting license. Do you remember that?
They did, yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, this next one, I don't know how you're going to feel about it. Okay. Stores sell jackalope milk.
Okay, what does it consist of?
You can just like milk you can milk a jackalope, apparently.
Okay.
And that's what it is. Supposedly.
Okay, so but we're saying that we don't know if they're real.
Yeah, I'll get into that later, but I'm just covering the...
Personally, as of this current moment, I'm confused how people don't think they're real, because a cross between two, like, we're saying Bigfoot's real, Mothman's real. We're saying, like, a cross between 2 very normal animals isn't real. I don't know, I kind of believe it.
Yeah. Well.
However, I want to know what's in that milk, because that's a little sick. Because I know it's not. It's probably just, like, a little sugar.
I know. It's probably, like, fake in the stores and stuff. But they say, like, the legend says that, like, you can milk a jackalope. Which, honestly, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I guess rabbits and hares, like, produce milk, right? I don't know if
I guess. No, they Yet again, something we don't know, but that's okay.
I think they do.
Regardless, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But apparently the milk has medicinal and aphrodisiac properties.
Okay. Well, there you have it, guys. There you have it.
Mm-hmm. So, since the first taxidermists, they created this animal, sort of, they were in Wyoming. The city has embraced the culture as its own, and that's why, like, they have the license there, the milk, and, like, all this stuff, because they're sort of claiming it, since, like, these taxidermists, they say they came up with this animal.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
And then just like in Point Pleasant with Mothman, Douglas, Wyoming has, like, a statue of a jackalope. They actually have 2. And the creature is on park benches, fire trucks, and more, like all throughout the city.
Honestly, I love that.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
That is so cute.
Yeah. Let's go to the next part. So the lore of these creatures says that although that they are cute, they're very dangerous and will eat anything and everything.
See, I knew we were going to get to that part.
Yeah. And they're said to attack.
Good.
So
humans?
Well, yeah. I mean, anything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They're so dangerous that hunters are advised to wear stovepipes on their legs to keep from being bitten.
Oh my God.
So like metal.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. And one way to catch a jackalope is with whiskey. Because whiskey's its favorite beverage.
Oh, we going to get whiskey shots at the bar with a jackalope.
Exactly. So, and also the jackalope can imitate a human voice.
Ew, oh no, I don't like that.
I knew you were gonna hate that part.
I don't like that. Skinwalkers do that. I don't like it. That's a big no for me.
See, but these are cute.
I don't care. That's even worse. I would rather it be ugly. Because it's going to be scary either way. You know?
Yeah, I guess
I'd rather it be ugly.
The way people, like, the first stories that came about for these animals, like, imitating the human voice, were, like, in the Old West, cowboys would gather by campfires, and they could hear the jackalopes mimicking their voices or singing along when they're singing by their campfires.
Stop it. That's disgusting.
And they're said to have like a tenor voice.
Okay.
So
we gotta harmonize with the jackalopes.
Yeah, exactly.
in the Wyoming wilderness.
Yeah. See, that's why I was imagining cowboys because of that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and they also only breed during lightning flashes.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Like, are you saying they have to get struck by the lightning, or just when lightning strikes is when they have to?
Yeah, I think when lightning strikes, it doesn't hit them.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, and that's why there's not that many jackalopes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Out in the wild.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that would work really, because it's like, how are you gonna time that? You just don't know what's.
That's a good point. However, to be in their defense, animals do have like a natural like way of knowing like when natural storms or disasters or whatever are coming, like when hurricanes come, like animals start to like flee. Yeah. I don't know if you knew that or if anybody else did not know that. So like maybe they can really feel it, you know, like feel. Sometimes I can feel when a storm's a brewing.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, they just know.
Yeah, they know.
So back to my thing I said in the beginning. Are these real or fake mythical creatures?
Okay.
You know? Oh.
Yeah.
This is a question we ask for like all cryptids, but
Of course.
I do have both sides of it, sort of. The people who believe that it's just a mythical creature, they credit the taxidermists with creating the creature.
Yeah. I mean, that I understand that.
Yeah, because taxidermists, it started with these two brothers in Douglas, Wyoming, and they got a jackrabbit and then put the antlers on it, you know? And that's, yeah. So they're said to have created it pretty much. It started in like the 1930s is when they first made these.
Okay.
And the brothers' names, actually, I have it right here. Douglas Herrick. And I don't have his brother's name. But they were
just kidding.
And then they sold the first sold the first one to a local hotel.
Creepy. That's really creepy.
Yeah. So honestly, if you go to Douglas, Wyoming, you could probably go to the first hotel, like hotel where that's so true. At, like the first one.
Yeah.
They probably still have it somewhere.
I bet they do.
So after that, like a bunch of people, like they liked it hanging up there. So people would like request them and stuff, and they ended up selling a bunch of them to a retail outlet in South Dakota, and other taxidermists still continue to make jackalopes today.
Interesting.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do see jackalopes like kind of often, I feel like, with like wilderness type stuff. You know, like as a symbol.
Oh, for sure.
Randomly. And
yeah.
I'm like, I didn't really know where that came from, but now I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, they could be real.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are stories of these creatures, like, before the 1930s, before taxidermists created these.
Okay.
Like, there's accounts of people seeing them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, they could possibly be based on a real creature. One theory is that the creatures are rabbits or hares with this virus called the Shope Papillomavirus virus, which is like, I think I said that wrong. It's basically what HPV is in humans, but this is for
okay. So
rabbits.
It's the something papilloma virus is how you say that.
Yeah.
Whatever the first word was you said.
Exactly. So it's SPV instead of HPV.
Got it.
But this virus in rabbits and hares, it causes horn and antler-like tumors to grow on the rabbits.
Okay.
Yeah. So they get these like tumors that look like horns. And they can get them other places, but they most commonly get them on their head.
Okay.
So, I mean, so that could be it.
Listen, honestly, that I'm told. Like, that really sounds like it could be it. Because also, like you're saying, like they're attacking people. And like if they are attacking people, it's probably from this disease.
Yes. So the disease, actually, I think I read that it makes them really hungry too.
Oh,
so,
God.
Because like also it could affect their mouth, which like makes it harder for them to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So they might not actually attack, but like they're hungry all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it's kind of crazy to me when like a real life thing turns into like a legend.
Yeah, because it's like, how do you even differentiate?
Because that's what it seems like happened to this.
100%.
It like, yeah, it's wild. So horned hares and horned rabbits have appeared in different cultures throughout the decades as well. There's legends of horned rabbits in Asia, Africa, and Europe, like as well as America. And there's even artwork from the 1500s of horned rabbits.
Okay, guys, horned rabbits are real.
Yeah, and then there's stories dating back to medieval times and the Renaissance.
Wow. No, like honestly, you didn't even have to say anything. I already believed that the jackalope was real. But like that really seals it for me. Like, there's been accounts everywhere around the world.
Yeah,
forever.
Yeah. And they call them different things, obviously, but like it's the same pretty much. But I don't know, if they are real, I really do think it might just be this virus.
No, me too.
But
me too.
So like all the other legend stuff might not be true. Like, probably can't be milked, and like and like they probably don't go 90 miles per hour. But
yeah, but maybe they're fast though. Like, you know, that's something I would say. You know, like like if I had a report of seeing a jackalope, I'd be like, man, I think it was going so fast, like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, totally exaggerating.
Yeah. And they just like took that and ran with it, you know.
Yeah, and the whiskey thing.
Okay, that's my favorite part. I'm trying to get some whiskey with a jackalope.
Yeah. So, some of these things I was like, how do you even come up with that?
Right. Also, random. Can I just say, like, this whole time, I have no idea if you're gonna know what this reference is, but if anybody out there knows, this whole story has been giving me the vibes of Banicula. Did you ever read that?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's like a vampire rabbit.
Yes.
That's what it's giving. That's what I was thinking about. That's what I was picturing the whole time. Was Banicula.
But with antlers.
But with antlers. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I didn't even really consider that.
I think about Bunnicula so often. It's weird.
That's funny.
It's really stuck with me.
I do have a few other points here about where it's showed up in culture throughout the years. There's also like descriptions in early scientific texts of horned rabbits, horned hares.
Oh.
Basically describing them as a real species. Like, well, I guess before they really knew, what we know today. But
that makes it even more believable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like a long time ago, with these early scientific texts, they described this animal as like a real thing, and then throughout time, as we learned more and more, they sort of decided, oh, they're actually not a real animal.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's still kind of cool. I mean, maybe they are, and we just
maybe they are, and maybe they don't want us to know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, also in the late 1700s, oh wait, actually, that's what I basically just said. Sorry. Okay, yeah. I have here, the late 1700s, the idea of a horned hare turned more into a myth than the real animal. So that's when they started deciding, okay, this is not really a real thing.
Okay.
1700s. And then a fur trapper spotted a jackalope in the 1800s in Wyoming. So that's sort of where it first popped up in Wyoming.
Got it.
In the 1800s. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for the jackalope. But that's just, I don't know. I just believe that these animals like have these,
diseases.
This disease.
I do too.
Are getting those horns.
Yeah, I think that they're definitely real. Like, it's not a mythical creature. Like, those exist, but it's not like,
its own species.
Yeah, it really is just like a thing with a disease. That's really sad, though, if that is the case.
Yeah, it is kind of sad.
That's heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah. I do actually love the idea of them singing by the campfire, though.
Oh, me too. Like I'm really actually trying to harmonize with them by a campfire.
Okay, like it is creepy, but at the same time, like they're little bunnies with horns.
Oh my God, it's giving Disney princess. Like, let's sing with the woodland creatures.
Exactly.
I kind of want to do that. Should we plan a trip to Wyoming?
See, that's what I was thinking
to try
too.
To camp?
Because I'm like, see. Good. I don't know. I'm a camper.
Honestly, you are a camper, and I'm not a camper, but I would do that. Try to sing with a jackalope.
Yeah.
Because that would be crazy.
I wonder if they have a jackalope festival or something.
Okay, the fact that they have statues makes me believe that they have.
Yeah, like they made it. Douglas, Wyoming made it like their whole personality.
Yeah, and I also bet that there's at least some sort of a museum of some sort.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, I don't know.
We'll have to find out on that. But, well, I love the little jackalope. And honestly, I can say it's from Scooby-Doo. Like, that's why I love him so much. Because he's so cute on there. Please, everybody, just go look him up. Just Google Scooby-Doo jackalope. He's so cute.
We'll have to post that version.
Yes. Okay, yes. We'll post it on our Instagram. So, go look at our Instagram. So, I guess moving along to mine. So, I also got inspiration from the Mothman Festival to do a cryptid for this week myself. And actually, so I had never really heard of this one. And this one was like the most popular one at the festival other than Mothman himself. So I have for you the legend of the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah. See, that one, like, I've kept seeing it everywhere. And I'm like, why have I not heard of this?
Literally, I was like, I have never heard of this. And then when I got home, I asked my parents, because they're from West Virginia. I was like, have you heard of the Flatwoods Monster? And they're like, of course. And I was like, okay, why have I never heard of it then?
Right.
Like, I'm confused. But, so we did ask some people, like, out and about what their favorite cryptids was. And literally, everybody said this one. So... I guess we're just going to get into it. So, the Flatwoods Monster, honestly, that's like the most popular name, but it has a million other names, such as the Braxton County Monster, Braxy, or the Phantom of the Flatwoods, which I love all of them. So I'm going to just, set the scene before we jump right on in. It is September 12th, 1952, and we're in Braxton County, West Virginia. So it was 7:15 p.m., and there were two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and they were also hanging out with their little friend Tommy, and they were all playing on their, the Flatwoods Elementary School front lawn, which I guess was, pretty close to their house. So, they were just playing in the front of the school, and all of a sudden, just they're mid-playing, they see this huge, bright object, cross the sky and land on the property of this local farmer named G. Bailey Fisher. So the second the boys saw this giant thing, fly across the sky, they started running to the farm to see what it was. Because, obviously I would do the same thing. But actually the farm was, their house was on the way to the farm. So as the smart boys that they were, they decided to, stop in and tell their mom what was going on. Which is honestly not the case for many of these stories, but shout out to these boys. So the mom actually started, calling, she called the police and was like, there's something going on. I don't know, my boys are crazy. And she got this National Guardsman named Eugene Lemon. And he was going to meet them over there. And the boys were like, hold on. Before we go over there, we need to call our other friend who lives in the same neighborhood, but just a few minutes down the road. And his name was Neil. And he was like, no, we have to invite Neil. Neil has to come with us to see this. And so the second they explained the story to Neil ran over as fast as he could. So this begs the question to you, Savannah, if I were to call you up, if we live closer, obviously, and I'm like, hi, I just saw something fly across the sky and land on this farm. You want to come check it out? Would you?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Good.
I would.
Good. I just feel like some people might not, So
See, I am surprised that they called their mom over and they called they just kept telling people usually they just go up to it, right?
I know. Well, I honestly do think they were a little scared.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And so I don't know. Plus, I feel like they wouldn't have stopped if their house wasn't already on the way to the farm. But so as a little side story, I kind of want to tell you, getting out of the Flatwoods Monster, going into my life a little bit. So me and one of my friends, Dina, shout out to Dina. Actually, happy birthday to Dina when this episode comes out. So
yes, happy birthday.
But when we used to be roommates, and we actually have seen some UFOs here in Wilmington. Now, please do remember that UFO just means an unidentified flying object. So I'm not saying that we saw aliens, I'm just saying. Some weird flying things have been seen. So one night, okay, me and Dina, like I said, we were roommates at the time. And we had another friend who lived in town with us, and she had left for the weekend and wanted us to feed her cats. So we drove over there because it was late. So we both decided to go together, fed the cats, whatever. And on the way home, we passed a Harris teeter, and this, on this road, it's the main road that you use. Every single time I leave the house, I use this road. So I see this Harris teeter every single day. And that's important to know. So we're on the way back to my house, and it's dark. It's probably 11:30 at night, and Dina is driving. Okay, I'm in the passenger, and we're almost home. Harris teeter's close to our house. We're almost home, but I see something flying in the sky above Harris Teeter. And at first, I'm like, honestly, Taylor, you're tripping. That's probably just one of the street lights. Because, there's street lights at the parking lot of the Harris Teeter.
Right.
So I looked away, but then I, glanced back. And it was, moving a little bit. And I was like, Dina, do you see that thing over there, flying? And so I'm going to just describe it how I saw it, because she was like, yes, I do see that. It was a small black little aircraft, and it had two really bright lights on it that were red. So it was like a very dark flying object in general. And it did kind of resemble a drone, but it didn't look like a drone I had ever seen. But I also don't know drones like that, you know. So it probably was just a drone. But what is important to this story is that when I was like, Dina, do you see it too? She was like, wait, no, that is really weird. And I was like, wait, pull in and so we can see, like pull into Harris Teeter so we can see it. Because what else did we have to do? Nothing. So, you know, she pulls in. And I was like, all right, it's getting real. The second that we pull in to Harris Teeter, we just get a little bit closer to it. It immediately starts flying away from us. That's weird, right? So I'm like, Dina, chase it. And I promise you, I did not think Dina was going to chase it. Because it also was not going in the direction of our house. It was flying the opposite way. Like the way we had just came. But I was like, Dina, chase it. And that girl did not even hesitate, not 1 second. She hit the gas, pedal to the metal. And we were flying, and we were trying to catch up to that thing. But when I tell you that thing is flying faster than I've ever seen anything fly, like we were driving, there was nobody on the roads. All the lights were green. Like we could have had that, but in a car we could not reach the speed that it was flying. So that's a little strange. And yeah, it ended up like going over some trees, and we like lost it. We like drove through some neighborhoods to try to find it, but never found it again. But you know, that just really solidified like the friendship. Like Dina would not ever hesitate to follow like a UFO or an alien. So that's much like insane. Neil in, you know, the Flatwoods Monster story.
Well, okay. That was a wild story there.
Okay, but right?
Can we just...
Like, what was it?
What do you think you saw? We need to get back to this.
Wait, did I never tell you this story?
I don't know if you have.
Okay, wow. Okay, well, it was new for you all and Savannah. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I am telling myself that it was a drone.
I mean, I am also thinking about the fact that there's a military base near you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I do think that it probably was that. And I don't know what they were doing at Harris Teeter. Like,
right.
I don't know. But I'm talking the second that they found, like, because she did like slow down in the road before she turned into Harris Teeter. So like, I'm thinking maybe it saw us, like noticing it. But that thing flew. And Dina will corroborate that story. Okay. It flew. It was insane. I couldn't even believe it was happening. So I don't know. I have no idea what it was. And it bothers me to this day. But anyway, tangent aside, getting back to the real story. So much like Dina, you know, Neil came over immediately. And then once they all got there, the mom, the boys, all of them, and the dog, their dog named Richie, actually, they brought him along too, to this farm. They met up. Little Richie. They all met up with the National Guardsmen and a few police officers at the Fisher farm. And apparently this farm was like on a very steep hill. So when they had to like climb to the top of the hill. And when they got to the top of the hill, the officers claimed to see this like pulsing red light in the distance. And so another officer said that he aimed that flashlight like in the direction, and he momentarily saw a tall man-like figure with a really round red face, and the face was surrounded by a pointed hood, like a hood-like shape. So, you know, that's weird. But you know what's even more weird is that he also describes the creature to be wearing a dark metal-looking dress. So if you can imagine that.
A metal dress.
Yeah, a metal dress with a really circle head / face, but it's like, it has like a little hood around it. But not like a hoodie hood. Like, I'm not sure if it was like a skin hood. I don't know what we're talking about here.
Ugh, okay.
But like, you know, I don't know. So obviously this is very unusual. So they were like, what is going on? And according to their story, the monster, once it like saw like the officer flashed the flashlight at it, it started hissing at them. And then it quickly made a fast movement towards one of the officers. And so they all ran as fast as they could. Anywhere. All of them just like ran, dispersed away. And every single one of them that were there that night claim, even though they were all running in different directions, that they could smell this pungent, like mist, like it just like randomly some smell came up in their nose, and it made them extremely, extremely nauseous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they did end up leaving, obviously, after that. They all like went home and they were like, never mind. Like, we don't care about what fell at that farm. Like, we don't want to know. And when they went back to the site later, nobody could ever smell anything. Like, they were like, there's no smell here. So that's weird. Also, after this night, some of the members of the group reported throat irritation and vomiting that lasted for like days after. However, the researchers and police chalk that up to like hysteria. Like, oh, they're just, that they're just thinking that
I mean, I guess, but like, what would cause hysteria that bad? Probably something that,
Something
like,
real.
exactly what they're describing.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So obviously the next day, like I said, they went back out there and they did actually find some skid marks in the field. And near the skid marks was this like strange gummy-like substance. Okay. And so these two things, like the skid mark and the gummy-like substance, is giving UFO. That's like a UFO landed there. And I'm just going to say maybe this is an alien. So we'll get back to that later though. So descriptions of the Flatwood Monster describes a very tall like being, and like reports range in between 7 and 10 feet tall. But all of them say it has a very round red face and a large hood-like shape around the face. And so although the first story said like it was like a metal dress, most other stories say it's like wearing like a dark green dress like situation.
Okay. See, I saw the like figures of it and stuff at the festival we were at. So I sort of know what you're describing.
Yeah, it's kind of giving a tall strawberry.
Yeah, but I did not realize it was that tall.
No, me neither. And creepy. Like, it didn't really look that creepy in the way they were like making it. They honestly look like strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, they make it look cute.
No, this is not cute. Not cute at all. So this little creature is said to have small claw-like hands as well. So, disgusting.
Okay.
So, let's see. So, some people also think if it's not an alien, they also are going with the owl theory. Now, if you have been with us, when I covered Mothman, that's what people think Mothman is too. Like this huge, like owl that people are just mistaking for Mothman. And so people are saying maybe this is another owl situation, that they're just mistaking it for an owl because of its like claws. But this one sounds far less like an owl to me. Because I personally believe that maybe Mothman was an owl, but this, I don't know.
Yeah, see, this doesn't make sense to be an owl.
No. Not really. Not really at all. So, let's see here. Another sighting of a similar creature was actually reported by a lady by the name of Miss Audra Harper, which just sounds very bougie, honestly. And her reported sighting actually came before the most famous one that I already told you guys about on the Fisher farm. So she claims to have seen the monster while taking a walk through the woods near her home in the town of Heaters. And so Heaters, West Virginia is just about 5 miles from Flatwoods. So not far at all.
Okay.
And Audra and her friend were walking to the nearby store, and the road they usually like walk to the store on was kind of falling apart. So they actually found like a shortcut through the woods, which in my opinion, as you all should know, please do not take a shortcut through the woods.
Yeah, no, definitely always stay on the trails.
Right. Right. Or road. Just,
Yeah, or on the road.
So, they're casually walking through the woods, chilling, when they notice what they describe as a ball on fire on one of the hills that they were passing.
Okay, that's not fun to see.
And so actually, Audra dismissed it at first. She was like, whatever. Like, maybe they're having a fire on the hill or something, you know? But when she took another glance, the, like, fire that they had seen was gone. And in the place of where the fire was stood a tall, dark silhouette of a man-shaped figure. And she describes it just exactly the same as the Flatwoods Monster, the other one. And Audra and her friend ran as fast as they could to, like, a nearby, like, rock and hid behind it until it was gone. And what's interesting is that sounds exactly the same. Like, that's the exact same story as the other one, but it happened before. So that's very interesting.
Okay, yeah. Like,
Yeah, and this was back in the 1950s, so, like, you know, I don't know. News was not traveling as fast as it is today.
Yeah.
So the day after the main event on the Fisher farm, so back to the original story, the day after that happened, there was actually another sighting that occurred near Strange Creek, which was actually about 20 miles away from Flatwood. So still within the vicinity, honestly. So reportedly, George and Edith Snitowski and their 18-month-old son were driving through the rural area of Braxton County on Route 4 when their car, out of absolutely nowhere, just all of a sudden stopped working while George was driving it. Like, literally in the middle of the road, stops. And so obviously they get out of the car and they're trying to fix it, but they're literally in the middle of nowhere. Like, no houses are around. Like, there's just nothing. And it was also night time, because of course it was. And this road was completely deserted because, like, nobody really lives here. Not that many people do.
Okay, that just scares me.
Like, imagine us, Savannah. And because we weren't even really on the back road, but imagine us getting broke down.
I know.
Anywhere in the vicinity. I would be losing my mind.
Me too. That's, like, one of my biggest fears. It's like, that's so scary.
Literally same. So just imagine how you would feel. So they're just standing, and they have their baby with them. He's 18 months old. Okay.
Oh my God.
So that's even worse.
No.
So they're standing outside of their car trying to figure out what to do, when all of a sudden they smell a foul, sulfurous smell, and their baby began to cry.
Oh no.
Then they report seeing a strange bright light, and then they saw a nearly 10-foot tall man standing in front of their car.
Why is he so tall?
What is he doing?
I don't
like sir, what are you doing? You're being creepy for no reason. Yeah. So a lot of people have studied, you know, what happened, and mostly they were focused on the Fisher farm incident. And it turns out that there were actually some weird government things going on at the same time as this. So this story of the Flatwoods Monster was so believed by the government that they actually sent agents who worked on Project Blue Book to the farm to investigate. Oh. So if you don't, we talked about it a little bit before, but if you don't know what Project Blue Book is, it's basically like the United States government's, like, it's the project name for, like, their alien project, basically. The U.S. government studying aliens, and they call it Project Blue Book. And so they sent Project Blue Book agents out there because they believe that this was an alien. So that makes it very believable to me that maybe this is an alien, and not just, like, a man. So, yeah, and you know what? Nothing ever came out of, like, what those agents said, obviously, because why would it? But the state police, in the incident report, wrote every single thing off, every single report off as mass hysteria.
See, what?
And I'm like, is that what the agents told you to do? State police?
Yeah, I mean, probably. They literally, like, always want to just, like, say the most random things. Like,
exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Hysteria. It's like,
they're crazy.
What does that mean?
Like, they're literally just saying, oh, these people are crazy. Every single one of them. Like, no, they're not.
I feel like hysteria has got to be caused by something, though. Right?
Exactly. Well, they're saying mass hysteria, so they're saying, like, everybody being paranoid about this is, like, what's making it, like, become real in their eyes. But, like, That's a bunch of BS, man. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I really don't believe that.
Yeah.
So also, a week after the Fisher Farm incident, there were many reports of two men wearing black suits coming to the like Air Force investigators who were investigating the farm, and they were apparently pretending to pose as magazine writers, and they were trying to get like all the details of the story. Yeah. So was that the Men in Black? I don't know. That's a little bit weird too. Could it also just been some creepy magazine guys? But who knows? So now I'm going to get into the most popular explanations as to what those people saw, even though I have already, mostly covered most of them. But back in 2000, this guy named Joe Nickel, who is like one of the leaders of the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, concluded after his investigation of this that the bright light that all these people claimed to have seen in the sky was most likely a meteor. And also before I move on to his other opinions, apparently this guy like investigates everything that's like strange and weird and like people are like skeptical about. So I didn't really look into his background, if like he has anything that can actually say that he's like has knowledge about any of this, if you know what I'm saying. But apparently people trust this guy. And so he said that the bright light was most likely a meteor. And he also claims that the red light people like claimed to have seen was probably just from like an airplane or a hazard beacon. And I'm like, that one, I mean, come on. You kind of know the difference.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess
it wasn't that long
could
ago.
be.
The 1950s. Like, I guess it could be, but like, I feel like people know the difference.
Yeah.
But, whatever. And he also believes in the owl theory. So,
See, that owl one is just, like, getting me. Because it's like, how is an owl 10 feet tall?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know owls can be huge. Owls can be 5 foot tall, which is scary. But, like, I don't think owls can be 10 feet tall. I don't know that for sure. So don't quote me on that. But if there's an owl out there that's 10 feet tall, just no. Just absolutely.
Yeah, like,
no.
I never want to see that.
No,
I never want to know.
I honestly, please don't tell me, because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
That's going to ruin me. So it's also important that I mentioned that the Flatwoods Monster stories happened 15 years before Mothman. So it's not like, if anything, they're bouncing Mothman story off of the Flatwoods Monster. So, that's also just a little bit weird. So the evidence that does support some of Joe's theories is that there actually was a reported meteor that was observed over 3 states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, over those dates. So it could be possible that the bright light they saw was a meteor. I guess. Yeah. Because it was reported.
They're just using that information to like have
Gaslight.
something to exactly. Yeah. Have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's so
there were meteor showers, so like
also
obviously.
I'm thinking like, were there meteor showers and they're lying? I don't know. I don't know. So let's see here. I lost my spot. Okay. So the officials in Flatwood have a huge welcome sign that designated the town, quote, home of the green monster, which I guess is another name for the Flatwoods Monster. And there's also a Flatwoods Days festival where they celebrate the Flatwoods Monster. And we did actually get asked if we were going to the Flatwoods Monster Festival while we were at Mothman.
Yeah, we did.
And I was like, I don't even know what that is, sir.
Yeah, literally.
But, now we do. So that's fun. And that is what really made me realize that you can just have a festival for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like anything you want. And like people will show up.
Yeah. And like these festivals do happen for literally anything.
Literally. It's so crazy. And so located in the town of Sutton, West Virginia is the Flatwoods Monster Museum. Oh. And there's also museums of anything and everything, baby.
Yeah.
Which we love. Love that. So there are also, now this is crazy. There is a series of 5 really tall chairs in the shape of a monster, of not a monster, the Flatwoods Monster, that serves as like landmarks for the visitors. But I think that they're made that big so like he could potentially sit in the chairs. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like I think that's why they made them so big, which that's funny to me.
Okay.
Honestly. And also the Flatwoods Monster, I did mention before, is sometimes known as Braxy because it's out of Braxton County.
Yeah.
And at these like huge chairs, apparently they give away free stickers, and the stickers say #FreeBraxy.
Oh my god.
Which honestly, I need one of those stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. There was even a documentary made in 2018 of a group of like investigators and researchers trying to find the Flatwoods Monster. They failed. And actually the Flatwoods Monster shows up in so many video games. It's unbelievable. I never knew. Like, I'm not even gonna list all of them because it was like the biggest list I've ever seen in my life. Like pretty much every video game, the Flatwoods Monster was in it. Which I'm like, how have I never heard of it?
Yeah, see, that's crazy because I really have never heard of this.
Same.
And, like, it seems so popular.
It literally is. And I'm like, we have just been living in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that overall is the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Do you think he's real? I personally think that maybe he was an alien.
See, yeah, I think he might have been an alien too. And then, because like also the people going out and trying to find him, he's probably gone back.
He's gone. Yeah, and there hasn't really been reports outside of like that, like even like a couple of months of when that happened.
Yeah.
So I really think it was an alien just visiting, and he popped down in just a random place in West Virginia, probably thinking that nobody was going to see him.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
You know?
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere? Who knows what he was doing over there? Crazy. I really don't believe the owl theory.
Oh, no. Those owls, like, that's scary.
I know.
They're that big.
Ew.
But no, I don't think it was an owl. I think
No.
those people probably did see, like, some sort of alien.
Definitely.
Some sort of weird alien. Because, like, you've never heard of anything like that. Every other sighting is more like consistent, you know?
Yeah, like a gray man
with
big eyes.
Exactly. And then this one is like so random.
It's
like,
so random, but it's also
got a hood.
so specific. It's so specific. So like it makes me believe it more. I don't know. It's whatever's going on here is weird. And also, if it was a person like dressing up trying to scare people, because that is also like a theory, that's so funny. But like you should come out and say that it was not real.
Yeah, and like why would you do that?
I don't know. Weird. I don't know. But that's what some people say. That's what some people say, man. I don't know.
Also, what if it was mass hysteria and somebody just made it up and
and they're like, "Oh my god, I saw the Flatwoods Monster." Yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like it could be an accurate excuse. Because
that's true.
It could be, but not for this case. I don't believe it was for this case.
Yeah.
I really don't. But definitely go check out our Instagram. You're going to want to see the Flatwoods Monster and the cute little jackalope.
Yes, yeah. We'll find I have to find the picture from...
Oh, I can find it so fast.
Scooby-Doo.
Don't you worry. So fast. But go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And also check out our YouTube. Be on the lookout for a vlog. It'll be upcoming very soon.
Yeah. Yep.
But really, other than that, I don't really have much else. What about you?
Yeah, nothing else.
Okay, well, I guess we will see you guys next week.
All right, cue the music.